Hey everybody, it's Dr. Jason Piken. Welcome to another episode of the Digestion Diaries. What we're going to be talking about today are vitamins or supplements. Some of them are going to be herbs, and these supplements are great for anxiety and stress. Now, why are we talking about anxiety and stress when this is called the Digestion Diaries? I went over this on plenty of other videos, but I'm going to say it again. If you're really wanting to take care of any symptom that your body is having, you have to get to the cause. And the three causes of all of our symptoms are, from one, physical, two, chemical, an imbalance in the chemistry of your body, and three, emotional. And this covers two, the chemical emotional aspect, because we're talking about anxiety, stress, poor stress handling, and supplements that you may need to help you overcome it. And so why does anxiety and stress suppress your digestion, and why do we need to supplement for it? Well, simple. You can't be anxious and healing at the same time unless you happen to be anxious and sleeping. Then you're probably healing. But you can't have a high adrenaline state. You can't be really active and productive and jittery and also digesting. That's why it's so good after a meal to relax and give your body time to assimilate and digest. That's why intermittent fasting is good, taking long periods of time in between meals so the body can actually utilize, and break down even further the things that you've put into your body. So if we eat too often and we're stressed, well, that can cause digestive problems or it can perpetuate digestive problems. So what do we do if we have all the great habits, we're meditating, we're exercising, we're getting plenty of sleep, yet we still have this anxious feel, we don't feel like we're handling stress well, and we have digestive problems at the same time? Whether or not you have them, digestive problems or not, these tips and tricks will help you. So we're going to get into supplements. Why supplements? I like explaining the word supplement like this. A supplement is made to make up for what you're not getting in your natural life diet. Either because you're not eating the right things, or because you have digestive problems and you're not absorbing them, or because your stress is high and you're not absorbing them, or because the demands on your body are so high that you need supplements to help you out. And these supplements aren't life and death the vast majority of the time, but they do improve your quality of life. When you find the right supplements for you, and there are lots of choices out there, they make a difference in your life. You shouldn't just take it because somebody told you to or because you read an article about it, but you should continue taking supplements if they make a difference in your life. And here are some of the options just when it comes to stress and anxiety. The first four I'm going to be talking about are general use supplements. They're not only good for anxiety and stress, but they're good for a lot of different systems in the body. And the last two are kind of bonus. They're really powerful supplements that I've been using more in the last few years of practice, the last about 3 years, especially one of them in the last like 9 months, and I found it to be a great impact on so many people. But the other ones have been around for years, and I just think you should know about them. You should get your foundation first, the first four, and then move on to the others when you need something a little extra. All right, so let's talk about the first thing, B vitamins. B vitamins, that's simple B vitamins. B vitamins are found in whole grains, in leafy greens, in meats. And so we should be getting enough B vitamins in our diet. But because of, again, stress, which creates high demands, because of certain medications, especially if you're dealing with anxiety, medications that actually have an impact on your brain and help you with stress can actually drain B vitamins. They can increase your demand for B vitamins. So if you don't have the B vitamins, you don't handle stress well. If you take those supplements, it helps you with your stress, but it drains more B vitamins, so you can't heal naturally. And isn't that what everybody that's watching this video wants? So a simple B complex can do. If you work with a health practitioner like myself, we can find specific Bs that you're deficient in, or maybe not deficient, that you need more of to enhance your life, like specifically B5 and B6 tend to help with the stress response really well, but you can start with a general B complex. And there are differences in B vitamins. You ever see different B vitamins in a store, and some are like $4 or $5 and some are $30. Well, some of the reason for that is marketing, and that's across the board on all supplements. Sometimes the price is just because it's a fancy label with a fancy doctor's name, and they're just charging more for no reason. But sometimes it's because of the quality of the supplement itself. And I don't want to go into the details in here, but there are different types of supplements, like let's call it methylcobalamin is a type of B12 that has been methylated. So it has a group of nutrients on it that makes it better for the body in lots of different ways. And methylated B12 is better than cyanocobalamin. See, cobalamin means B12, and there's methyl and cyano. Go for the methyl. There's methylated folic acid, another example. And then there's folate and folic acid on its own. But a 5-methyl tetrahydrofolate folic acid is different. So if you want more info on that, visit my website for more information, and you can email me at drp@drjasonpiken.com. Hopefully that link will be right here. And you can ask me any questions that you need. Just reach out. But in general, go for a high-quality B vitamin, and that's a good foundation. And usually just one a day is good unless you're working with a practitioner that says you need more of a specific B vitamin. And I do recommend that you get tested and work with a health practitioner to find out. But B vitamins, besides helping you with the stress response, are involved with too many processes to name. They're involved with your energy production, with proper sleep, with creating hormones like melatonin that help you sleep, and with cortisol levels, which is a stress hormone. They will help so many different processes and help you to deal with anxiety if you need them. So if you're taking them and you feel better, fantastic. Keep taking them, okay? So let's move on to the next one, magnesium. Magnesium. Let's see how we can talk about this and explain it, because what I like to do is take everything down to its simplest form. Here's how I like to talk about magnesium. I have to put in calcium. Calcium is another mineral. Magnesium is a mineral, and calcium is a mineral. They're not exactly opposites, direct opposites, but they kind of work like that in the body if we kind of dumb it down and just talk like real. Calcium, what it does is it causes muscles to contract. See, when calcium flows into the muscle's like waiting, and it's nice and long, and then it's waiting to contract. It gets a signal from our nervous system coming from our brain down our spinal cord. That's why it's important to have your spine really healthy. But the message gets sent from our nervous system out through the nerve ending into the muscle, and what happens in the muscle is calcium flows into it and it contracts. And in order for it to relax, it needs a few different things. Well, B vitamins help, and magnesium, which helps it to relax. See, magnesium helps to distribute the calcium out. Vitamin E is important too, but that's not part of this because it's not necessarily a stress supplement that we're talking about today. But magnesium relaxes the muscles. So magnesium actually has a relaxing effect on the body. Magnesium is good for the heart. Magnesium is good for the brain. It helps you to sleep. It softens your stool, and that's the telltale sign that you've had too much magnesium. So magnesium typically comes in 100, 200, I've seen it at 400 milligram supplements, but what I don't want you to do is get 400 milligram supplements, because there's like a stopgap for magnesium. When you get too much magnesium for you, you'll get a loose stool. You'll get an upset stomach. So what you want is a lower dose magnesium so you can grade it up to the level that you need it, because everybody needs different amounts. And what's a great source of magnesium? Green leafy vegetables. Kale, broccoli, cauliflower. I know cauliflower is white, but still has magnesium in it. And these cruciferous vegetables and the dark green vegetables are great sources of magnesium, yet they only give you about 25, maybe 50 milligrams per serving. Serving's like a big handful of it. And humans tend to need about 400 milligrams a day on average. Again, everybody needs something different. So if you're only getting 2 servings, well, that's not a lot of magnesium. So try getting in some magnesium. I like it before you go to bed. because it does have a calming, relaxing effect on the body. It can promote bowel movements too, which is good for the digestion. And if you're taking too much magnesium, you'll get some loose stools, so don't go overboard. Types of magnesium, just like we talked about methylated B vitamins. Types of magnesium. There's magnesium oxide, which tends to be the most common one that that I see in supermarkets, or I go to Duane Reade, CVS, Rite Aid, whatever mart that you have by you. When I pick up magnesium bottles, because I was looking for one on vacation, when I didn't have any magnesium and my wife needed it, everything was magnesium oxide. And magnesium oxide is a decent form of magnesium in a pinch, but the oxide version of magnesium can tend to cause more bloating in people. And I don't think that's great. I also don't believe that magnesium oxide is as well absorbed as a couple other different forms of magnesium. Magnesium citrate, now that's a better, well-absorbed magnesium. And then magnesium glycinate. Magnesium glycinate I find works the best in people because it tends to have an ability to relax the brain, relax the muscles, and be that stool softener edge when you need it. Okay, so magnesium glycinate is what I use in my office. Right now I'm using the brand from Metagenics, Mag Glycinate, and you can look for that on my website. You can find it in other places, but that's the story of magnesium. Magnesium is looking to relax the body. Just don't take too much if you don't want the loose stool. Let's move on to next, fish oils. So, fish oils, how do they help with stress? Well, let's just talk about the structure of the brain. The brain is basically made of fat. What is the primary organ of stress? The brain. Now we talk about adrenal glands, the adrenaline system. There are two little glands that are above your kidneys. My camera is not set up to see that properly, but these adrenal glands release the hormones of stress, and they also come from other places, but they mainly come from the adrenal glands. And you can look to feed and fuel the adrenal glands, but what you're really looking to do is make sure the brain activity is healthy. And one of the ways to do that is ensure that you're getting the right amount of healthy fats, especially omega-3 fats. I like that 3 number. Omega-3 fats, the best source of them will come from fish oils. How does fish oil help with anxiety and then with gut health? Well, fish oil has so many different properties, and the two most important ones are inflammation, it will anti-inflammatory, and improve circulation. So if you can decrease inflammation and improve circulation, well then the ability for those B vitamins and that magnesium to travel around your body is made easier. And if we have more circulation and more oxygen going to our brain, wouldn't that help with our ability to handle stress? And there are studies that have shown that simple things like fish oils can help our brain to experience less stress. And if our brain has experienced less stress, well, then you're going to be less stressed. So now what about the vegetarians and vegans out there? Well, if you're a vegetarian, vegan, you don't want to use fish oil, you can use things like flaxseed oil. If you want to get it from whole food sources, you can use nuts and seeds, and you can eat fish. One of my favorites is sardines. The smaller the fish, the less toxic they're going to be. And they're packed with oil. They're really inexpensive. So if you're concerned about the money buying wild salmon, because I'd rather not even get organic, I'd get wild fish. But I've seen that for $35 a pound. And it's just really an inefficient way of getting fish oils in when the supplements you can get are less expensive. But you do have to look for quality, purity. Again, in my office right now, I'm using Metagenics fish oils. Don't know what will happen by the time you watch this video, because I know it's out there for a long time. And if you get a high quality fish oil that's clean from impurities, then you're going to have better adaptation towards inflammation and better circulation. And that's going to help the stress response. So where do we start with the dosage there? Well, 2 grams of a fish oil should be the minimum starting dosage, and then you go up from there. And if you've experienced burping, belching, because a lot of people that take fish oils that have digestive issues do, here's some tricks. 1, go to a doctor that understands digestion and get help. Because what you want to find out is why you're burping up these fish oils. in the first place. But here's some tricks, just in case it's going to take you a few days or weeks to get to the doctor. One, you can freeze them. Freezing the fish oils changes the way they get digested, and they get digested a little lower down in the digestive tract and you won't burp them up. Also, change brands. If you get an enteric coated fish oil, that means it's coated in usually a gelatin source that makes it harder to digest, so it won't digest up here and you won't get that fishy taste. And some of them are even flavored with like lemon. All right, so all those tricks will help you with your fish oil supplementation. And again, if you can't, flaxseed, chia seeds are a great source of omega-3 that help decrease inflammation, increase circulation. All right, so next, herbal adaptogens. There are plenty of herbal adaptogens out there, but I'm going to focus on two, ashwagandha and rhodiola. Now, first of all, what the heck is an herbal adaptogen? Well, here it goes. I like using the explanation of caffeine when I'm talking about adaptogens, because an adaptogenic herb adapts to your body's needs. Caffeine is an herb, basically. It's a chemical that comes from a plant, and small doses, it's really safe and nothing's wrong with it. In super high doses, it will have a medical effect on you. It'll affect your physiology. But caffeine really won't calm you down. Caffeine doesn't lift you up and calm you down. It doesn't have the two options. It either does nothing because the dosage is too low, or if you get a high enough dosage for you, it basically riles you up and gives you energy. So it's not adaptogenic because it doesn't really work with your body to do what it needs to do. Getting what an adaptogen is? So ashwagandha and rhodiola are two herbs that help your body to handle stress better. And they're really magic herbs. They can give you energy. They can allow you to wind down at the end of the day when you really want to rest. They can help with sleep. And again, different sources out there. Right now, I use a few different brands because I find that I need to experiment a little bit, because even though the herbs should just, if they come from good sources, should have the same effect, I find with different patients they don't. So if you've tried ashwagandha and rhodiola, you haven't had a good effect, it means one of a few things. One, you didn't need that herb. You didn't need both of them together if you were trying them together. Sometimes you have to separate them. The dosage was wrong for you. Remember, some people don't take enough of a pill to get no effect. It's not like a medication where you can take one and you're done for the day. It is a little bit more of a pain because you have to take more pills and sometimes spread them out throughout the day. But by avoiding the medication and enhancing your body in a natural way, I believe there are benefits to that pain of taking more. So you either didn't take the right dosage, it wasn't the right brand for you, it wasn't the right herb exactly for you, or you just didn't need it. And it's not going to work. But the best thing about ashwagandha and rhodiola, why I'm mentioning to them, is I've never seen them hurt anybody. Sure, there could be side effects from anything, and I recommend that you talk to your doctor before taking any advice from me, because I have to say this as a statement, you shouldn't replace these views and these recommendations for good, sound medical advice or holistic healthcare or chiropractic nutritional advice from a nutritionist. But if you want to learn how to care for yourself in a relatively safe way, here it is. All right, so these herbs are adaptogenic, and they, again, can lift you up or calm you down. So the next thing, we talked about three things. B vitamins, and how they're easy to get, they're relatively inexpensive, great for anxiety and stress. Magnesium, which is relaxing for the body, easy to get, inexpensive, good for so many things, great for stress. And fish oils and their benefits. And lastly, we spoke about the herbal adaptogens, ashwagandha and rhodiola. Now, it tends to be that rhodiola tends to lift people's energy levels a little bit, where ashwagandha will tend to calm. They are adaptogenic, so they can both lift and calm depending on what your body's needs are. They work with your body, unlike caffeine. But I find in practice, clinically, that ashwagandha tends to be more calming and rhodiola tends to be more lifting, like if somebody needs energy. So we're going to get to the last two, the ones that I've been using more in recent years. One is GABA. So here's what we want to talk about when we're talking about GABA. GABA is a neurotransmitter. What is that? A neurotransmitter is the chemicals that run your brain. Basically, they keep you connected, they drive your brain chemistry. And GABA is virtually the only neurotransmitter, the only chemical of your brain that is inhibitory. It tends to shut things down or dampen things down. So the most important thing when we're dealing with anxiety, and I've known this from personal experience, is when my mind is racing. Some people will call it a monkey mind, an anxious mind. Some people will call it a monkey mind. Some people will call it an anxious mind. But basically your mind is racing. If you're watching this video about anxiety, you probably understand the feeling I'm talking to you about. And what we all want at some times is just for something fast acting that could just drive it down, because there's no tiger chasing us. We know there's nothing wrong right now, but our brain keeps going and racing. Well, as I've been using GABA support supplements, I have had the most incredible amounts of relief anytime I want them. And I tend to take them every single day. Well, every single day means maybe I'll skip them sometimes when I'm feeling extra good, on vacation or something like that. But I use them regularly. Now, here's what we have to understand about GABA. I don't really want you to take GABA. Don't go to the store and buy a GABA supplement. You can buy a GABA supplement. There's a picture of one right here, right? And I don't want you to buy that, because GABA is a particle size. When you take it as a supplement, it's too large to cross in through the blood-brain barrier. So there's this protective layer for your brain where the regular circulation of your body and toxins that are flowing around our body can't get into our brain to damage it. So what you need if you want to impact GABA production is something small enough, tiny enough to cross the blood-brain barrier. And when you take GABA as a supplement, it shouldn't be able to cross there, except if you have leaky gut and leaky brain. So I've spoken about leaky gut in other videos. I'm not going to get into the specifics of that now. Please take a look at it. But basically, it's an intestinal hyperpermeability. It means your body is letting in things that it shouldn't. There's the barrier system, the tube of your digestive system, is supposed to block things that are not supposed to be absorbed and only allow in what's supposed to be absorbed. And in this case of leaky gut, it's allowing things in that are not supposed to be there. Well, that same situation can happen in the brain, and it can let things in that are not supposed to be there. So an experiment of whether you have a leaky brain can be this. Buy one of those GABA supplements that I told you not to buy, and take 1,000 milligrams and see if it has an effect on you. If it has an effect, and the vast majority of the time, this is going to be a calming, relaxing, soothing effect. You'll just feel more chill, more James Taylor, if you know the reference, and you'll feel good. That's not good if you took GABA and feel that, because that may mean, can't talk indefinites here, that you have a leaky brain. Yet, if you heal up your leaky gut in other videos, you can heal your leaky brain. Okay? So, what I prefer to use are GABA agonists. GABA agonists. Those are supplements that enhance the function of GABA. So your body is supposed to make GABA. Our bodies are really smart. They make a lot of different things. And how your body makes GABA is it takes this neurotransmitter, another chemical that runs your brain, called glutamate. Glutamate does this. Glutamate fires and gets you active and gets your brain floating all over the place. Glutamate is that mind racing chemical. And at will, basically, you should be able to control glutamate and turn it into GABA. Now, I know you're not sitting there thinking, hey, I want to turn glutamate into GABA right now, but anytime you really want to relax, anytime you take a deep breath and really just calm down, and it's time to go to bed, and you want to shut off your racing mind, you should be able to. And the nutrients that tend to promote the conversion of glutamate into GABA are B vitamins, L-theanine, which is a great one. Some people take it as sun-theanine, okay, and magnesium. And there's different blends out there that I've been exposed to a lot of different companies that all have different blends. And so I'm not getting specific on blends and doses right here because I've seen a lot of things work. I'll tell you a couple of things that I use the brand-wise in my office, and you can look at the ingredients for yourself to find out what's in it. But it's blends of these nutrients. There's Trancor from Metagenics, Trancor. Maybe there's a picture right there. Trancor from Metagenics is a supplement that can help to enhance the conversion of glutamate into GABA and get rid of that monkey mind. There is also Apex Energetics. They have 3 that do this process, and they're different blends. And this is why, and the Apex Energetics supplements are different blends than the Trancor. And then I've seen others that are great, they're effective, but they have blends of herbs, B vitamins, magnesium, other amino acids. So this is why I'm not getting into specifics, because I don't know what's right for you out there. The best thing to do, contact a health professional to help you pick the right one for you, because there's ways of figuring that out. But the Apex Energetics few are GABA Flow, which is like a pump. It's a spray pump that is a really, really low dose of these B vitamins and amino acids. There's Gabatone right here. And Gabatone is a pill form that has higher doses of the B vitamins, magnesium, and amino acids. And you need to take less Gabatones to get an effect than GABA Flow, but GABA Flow is great for during the day. Actually, I keep very often a bottle of GABA Flow, in my golf bag. I'm getting into another story here, but when you're playing golf, it's a perfect situation of how anxiety affects your day. You have to be hyper-focused. You have to be clear about what you want to do. You want to hit that ball. You have to go through the mechanics properly, but you also have to be relaxed. You can't be tense at all. So a few sprays of GABA Flow from Apex calms me down. The most I've ever taken was 10 sprays. 10 sprays. I was on my way driving to the golf course, and I realized my mind was saying, I should really be home, or I should be doing something for work at the office. I shouldn't be here. I'm having too much fun. It's too nice of a day. I was just feeling guilty for no apparent reason. You're supposed to enjoy life. So what I did is I reached into my bag, took a few squirts of the GABA Flow, did nothing. I was still racing, took a few more, and golf was fantastic that day. Just got rid of my mind racing, didn't make me tired. So that is GABA support. Remember, I'm not recommending that you take GABA, and I'm not even mentioning GABA. I'm not even going to mention the last word, another supplement from Apex Energetics, because I believe you should only take that under the supervision of a medical doctor, chiropractor, nutritionist, somebody that's licensed to help you, because it's a stronger form of GABA, because it helps actual GABA get absorbed into your brain. But you don't want to take that every day, all day. You want to cycle that on and off. It's too complicated to talk about today. You should only work with somebody. But those other two, with amino acids, B vitamins, those are safe to try on your own. And again, I'm going to say it again, best to work with somebody when it comes to your brain and anxiety. I'm not here to treat your disease. I'm just here to educate you to make you a healthier, happier person. So let's move on to the last piece of info, CBD, cannabidiol. There's been a lot of talk about cannabidiol out there, and here's my take on it, how it has helped me and how it's helped patients that I've worked with, and neighbors and friends and family members. So there is a plant called the cannabis plant. There's 2 branches of this cannabis plant. There's the female, which is marijuana, which has an ingredient called THC in it, which can get you high. And then there's the male plant, which is hemp. Now, hemp is legal to grow, and it's going to get even more legal because it's legal virtually everywhere, and there's a bill being passed through, I think, the Senate, as maybe I'm speaking, that's going to make it available to all 50 states and make it completely safe and legal. And why we need that farm bill is we need more research on the efficacy of hemp oil, a concentrated hemp oil, including high amounts of cannabidiol, CBD, because it helps with anxiety, stress, and inflammation. Not everybody, but when the cannabinoid receptors, these receptors for cannabidiol that are inherently already in us as human beings, everybody has different amounts. Some people have a lot more than others, so the effectiveness is going to be different from person to person. When these receptors are stimulated, they tend to make us feel good. And it tends to have, remember I'm using the word tends, not it does, but it tends to have an effect on making people feel less anxious and happier overall. And it also tends to reduce inflammatory signals, so it can help with pain. So remember, I'm saying the words can, doing that for legal purposes. And it's not marijuana, it's hemp, because there's such an incredibly tiny amount of THC, that chemical that will get you high, that it can't get you high. Now, don't confuse hemp oil that you buy for $5 or $10 or $12 in the grocery store or the health food store that you can use for cooking. That's just a flavoring and an oil that you can cook with a concentrated form of CBD. What basically they do is take a similar product like that hemp oil, but it's highly concentrated, and they're concentrating the active ingredient, cannabidiol. Now, there's other ingredients that I'm not even going to speak about. There's about 20 different ingredients that really make up the whole plant. So I'm also not a big fan of concentrated just a single CBD product. I believe in using the entire plant. And when you concentrate the entire hemp oil from the entire plant, you get this product that can help with pain and anxiety. And because it works on two branches, you get 2 for 1. I think that's better. Again, work with somebody that knows how to use it, because I don't want you using something inadvertently and causing harm. But I'm going to tell you, it's so ridiculously safe for the vast majority of humans on this earth that we're going to be hearing more and more about it. And maybe this is an early way for you to hear about it. Maybe you've heard about it before. But the dosing of it is really challenging. And that's where some of the controversy lies. Because the vast majority of concentrated CBD hemp oil out there comes in a form where it's suspended in another oil, not just hemp oil. A lot of times it comes in a coconut oil or some other type of oil. I've seen them in olive oil too. And when it's oil-based, you have to be good at absorbing fat and absorbing oils. Now, if you're watching the Digestion Diaries, chances are you may have a digestion problem. So if you're taking this oil and you don't have a good time absorbing fats, remember the fish oil talk I had before, if you burp them up, maybe you're not digesting fats properly, well then you're not going to be getting all of the concentrated CBD out of your product. Simple as that. So there are a few companies out there which make a water-soluble form. What they've done is they nano-size the fat molecules, sorry about my English there, and they've made it more absorbable. That's the key to it. That's what you want, is more highly absorbable. So I'm going to give you some general guidelines. If you're using a fat soluble, you might need 100, 200, 500, 1,000, 1,500 milligrams as your effective dose, because you're probably only absorbing about 10% of what you're putting in your mouth. You take this orally. And then on the other hand, if you get a water-soluble, one of the brands that have been nano-sized, and the two I'm using right now are Colorado hemp, maybe you'll see a picture of it right here, and Zillis Ultracell. And that's again right here. And these are two companies that I've used that have nano-sized the particles, so the dosage on the label looks completely different than these other ones that are fat-soluble. But because the absorption is up to 80–90%, you can actually dose it with more accuracy. And I find that I found the right dosage for me. It's helped my dog. It's helped a bunch of patients I've been using it with in these last few months, and neighbors and friends and family. So That's all I have to say about supplements, anxiety, and stress. I know this was a long one. Maybe you'll watch clips of it. Maybe I'll chop it up and give you little pieces to watch that are really important. But I needed to get that information out there as a summary. I'm going to summarize the entire thing. It's best to use the supplements that I mentioned that work with the entire body. B vitamins. Everybody needs B vitamins anyway. If you need B vitamins and you're not getting enough, just try a good quality B complex. And then we talked about magnesium. We all need magnesium for our muscles to relax. So get a good form of magnesium citrate, magnesium glycinate is another good one. And then move on to fish oils. A high quality fish oil, one that I'm using in my office right now, Metagenics EPA DHA 1000. It's a concentrated fish oil that's really clean. And then we're going to go into adaptogens. Adaptogens like Rhodiola and Ashwagandha. I use a few different brands there, so I'm not going to mention all of them because everybody needs different ones I find in my office. And then we talked about GABA agonists, not taking GABA necessarily, but GABA agonists, the B vitamins and amino acid blends that promote the conversion of glutamate into GABA. And then last one, CBD. Check with the laws in your state whether it's legal now or you have to wait a few more weeks, but it's coming, it's useful. I hope that all helps. Have a great day.